The bullet tore through Choi Jin-seok's side at exactly 11:47 p.m., and in that moment, the most powerful man in Seoul's underworld became nothing more than prey. His empire meant nothing, his billions meant nothing, his army of loyal soldiers meant nothing, because his own blood, his own cousin, had sold him to his enemies. And now, he was bleeding out in a filthy alley, crawling toward a light he prayed wasn't heaven's gates. He didn't know that light belonged to a woman who would change everything. He didn't know that in 10 minutes, he would be hiding in her bed while assassins searched for him outside her door. And he definitely didn't know that this woman, this stranger who had every reason to turn him in, would become the only person he would ever truly love. Have you ever had to choose between safety and compassion in a split second? Have you ever saved someone without knowing if it would cost you everything? Stay with me, because what happens in the next 12,000 words will leave you breathless. Choi Jin-seok was 38 years old when he learned that blood meant nothing. He'd built his empire on the principle that family was everything, that loyalty ran deeper than money, that the people who shared your name would never betray you. He'd been catastrophically wrong. The meeting was supposed to be routine. His cousin Kim Won-shik had called requesting an urgent discussion about the shipping routes through Busan. Won-shik managed that territory, had for 5 years, and Jin-seok trusted him completely. Trusted. Past tense. Because when Jin-seok walked into that warehouse in Gangnam with his security detail, Won-shik wasn't alone. The Yakuza were waiting, specifically, the Tanaka clan. The Japanese organization that had been trying to move into Seoul's territory for 3 years. The group Jin-seok had repeatedly humiliated and pushed back. The group that wanted him dead more than anything. "Cousin," Won-shik had said, his voice steady despite the 20 armed men surrounding them. "I'm sorry it came to this." Jin-seok had stared at him. "Won-shik, what did you do?" "What I had to. You've been king long enough. Time for new leadership." The shooting started before Jin-seok could respond. His security detail, 6 of the best fighters in his organization, went down in seconds. Return fire, chaos, screaming, and then the pain. White hot, tearing through his left side. The bullet missing his vital organs by centimeters, but doing enough damage that Jin-seok knew he was in trouble. He ran, abandoned protocol, abandoned pride, just ran. Through the back exit, into the maze of alleys behind the warehouse district, blood soaking through his expensive shirt, vision starting to blur. Behind him, voices, shouting in Japanese and Korean, hunting him. Jin-seok had been many things in his life, ruthless, powerful, feared, but he'd never been prey, until now. He stumbled through the rain-slicked alley, one hand pressed against the bullet wound, the other using walls for support. His phone was gone, dropped during the firefight. His gun was empty. 3 bullets left when the magazine jammed. His security was dead, all 6 men who were supposed to keep him alive. Chai and Won-shik, his own blood, had orchestrated it all. Jin-seok's legs gave out. He hit the ground hard, tasting copper and rain. This was it. This was how the Shadow King died. Alone in a filthy alley, bleeding out like a dog. But then he saw it. A light. Warm. Yellow. Coming from a small window at ground level. A basement apartment. Jin-seok crawled. Actually crawled like an animal toward that light. Tried the door. Unlocked. Thank God. Thank whoever was listening. He tumbled inside, and that's when his life changed forever. Amara Okafor was 26 years old and had exactly 43 minutes before her night shift at the hospital started. She was Nigerian, had come to Seoul 3 years ago on a student visa to study nursing, worked 2 jobs, teaching English at a language academy during the day, but working as a nursing assistant at Seoul National University Hospital at night. Sent most of her money home to Lagos, where her mother was raising Amara's 3 younger siblings alone after their father's death. Her studio apartment in Itaewon was tiny, maybe 200 square feet. Barely enough room for a bed, a small kitchenette, and a bathroom. But it was hers, safe, quiet. A sanctuary in a city that never stopped moving. She was making instant ramyeon when the door burst open. A man, Korean, maybe late 30s, expensive suit soaked in rain and blood, literally fell into her apartment. Amara screamed, dropped the pot of boiling water, grabbed the nearest weapon, a wooden spoon. The man looked up at her, dark eyes, handsome face twisted in pain. So much blood. "Please," he gasped in Korean. Please help me." Amara's nursing training kicked in before her fear could paralyze her. She saw the gunshot wound, the arterial bleeding, the shock setting in. This man would die in the next 20 minutes without immediate intervention. "Who shot you?" she demanded in Korean. "Doesn't matter. Please, they're looking for me. If they find me here, they'll kill you. They'll kill us both." Amara made a choice. Later, she wouldn't be able to explain why. Maybe it was her nursing oath. Maybe it was compassion. Maybe it was the desperate look in his eyes that reminded her of her father in his final days. But she made a choice. "Bathroom. Now. Can you walk?" Jin-suk nodded, struggled to his feet. Amara helped him to the tiny bathroom, sat him in the bathtub. "Don't move. Don't make a sound." She grabbed her medical supplies, the professional kit she kept for emergencies, started cutting away his shirt. The wound was bad, through and through. The bullet had gone clean through his side, but had done damage to the surrounding tissue. "This is going to hurt," Amara said. "I've been shot before." "Good for you. Stay quiet anyway." She worked fast, stopped the bleeding, disinfected, applied pressure bandages. Her hands were steady even though her heart was racing. This man was dangerous. She could feel it. The expensive suit, the confidence even while bleeding. The way he'd said, "They'll kill us both," like he knew exactly what he was talking about. But he was also a patient, and Amara didn't let patients die. That's when the knock came. 3 sharp raps on the apartment door, but Jin Seok's eyes went wide. "Don't..." "Shh." Amara closed the bathroom door, took a breath, opened the apartment door. 3 men stood outside. Korean, cold eyes. One had a tattoo visible at his collar, Yakuza style. "Yes?" Amara asked in her accented Korean. "Police," the lead man said, showing a badge that looked fake even to Amara's untrained eye. "We're looking for a man. Injured. May have come this way." "I haven't seen anyone." "You're sure?" "Very sure." The man's eyes scanned her apartment, looking for signs, blood, disturbance, anything. "You're alone?" "Yes. I was just making dinner before my night shift." "Where do you work?" "Seoul National University Hospital. I'm a nursing student and assistant." The man studied her, dark skin, foreign, young, nervous but not suspiciously so, decided she wasn't worth the trouble. If you see anything suspicious, call the police, real police." "Of course." They left. Amara closed the door, locked it, leaned against it. Her whole body was shaking. She'd just lied to assassins, to protect a stranger who was probably a criminal. She should kick him out, call the actual police, let them deal with this. Instead, she went back to the bathroom. Jin-suk sat in her bathtub, one hand pressed against his bandaged side, looking at her with an expression she couldn't read. "You saved my life," he said quietly. "I stopped you from bleeding to death. That's different from saving your life." "Why did you lie to them?" "Because I'm apparently an idiot." "They would have killed you, for helping me." "I know." "So why?" Amara sat on the closed toilet lid, exhausted, terrified. Geek committed now to whatever this was. "Because you asked for help, and I couldn't say no." Jin-suk laughed, actually laughed despite the pain. "You're either the bravest person I've ever met or the stupidest." "Probably both." She stood. "I have to go to work. My shift starts in 30 minutes. "You're leaving me here? You can barely walk. Where are you going to go?" "Fair point. There's ramyun on the counter. You can eat it if you want. Don't touch anything else. Don't leave. And if anyone knocks, hide in the bathroom and don't make a sound." "Are you always this bossy with gunshot victims?" "Only the ones who break into my apartment." She grabbed her bag, her nurse's uniform, stopped at the door. "What's your name?" she asked. Jin-suk hesitated. Giving his real name was dangerous, but lying felt wrong. Jin-suk. I'm Amara." "Amara." He tested the name. "It's beautiful." "Don't die while I'm gone, Jin-suk. I don't want to explain a corpse to my landlord." She left, and Jin-suk sat in that tiny bathroom, bleeding and alone, thinking about the woman who'd just risked everything for a stranger, and wondering why it felt like his life had just changed in ways he didn't understand yet. If you're watching this, hit that like button. Share this with someone who believes in taking chances. Subscribe, because what happens next is going to blow your mind. This community grows because you're here. Amara's shift at the hospital was the longest of her life. Every time her phone buzzed, she expected news. Police, a break-in, something terrible. But nothing came. At 7 a.m., when her shift finally ended, she practically ran home. Dia opened her apartment door carefully. Jin Seok was exactly where she'd left him, sitting in the bathtub, now shirtless, his bandages clean. He'd clearly changed them himself using her medical supplies. "You're still alive," Amara said. Disappointed? Relieved and terrified, in equal measure. She checked his wound. He'd done a good job with the bandages. The bleeding had stopped. No signs of infection yet. "You need antibiotics, strong ones, and probably stitches if we don't want a nasty scar." "I have scars, one more won't matter." Amara saw them. Old wounds, bullet scars, knife marks. This man's body was a map of violence. "Who are you, really?" she asked. "Someone you should have left in the alley." "Too late for that, tell me." Jin Seok looked at her, this woman who'd saved him, who deserved the truth. My name is Choi Jin Seok. I run certain businesses in Seoul, some legal, many not." "You're a gangster. That's the polite word for it. And the men looking for you?" "Rivals, and my cousin who sold me to them." "Your cousin betrayed you?" "Family isn't what I thought it was." Amara sat on the bathroom floor, processing. "So by hiding you, I've made enemies of... what? The Korean Mafia? The Yakuza?" "Probably both." "Perfect. Great life choices, Amara." "You can still turn me in. Call the police. I won't blame you." She looked at him. Really looked. Past the blood and the violence and the danger. Saw a man who'd been betrayed by his own family. A man who'd crawled through alleys bleeding and desperate. A man who was completely alone. "You ate my ramyeon," she said. "I was hungry. And you used my shower. I was covered in blood. And you're currently sitting naked in my bathtub with just a towel. I didn't have other options. We need to get you clothes, and proper medical supplies, and..." She stopped. "Why am I helping you?" "I've been asking myself the same question. I should be terrified of you." "You should be. But I'm not. Why aren't I terrified?" Jin Seok smiled slightly. "Because you're either the bravest person I've ever met, or the stupidest." "Yeah, you said that already." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Jin Seok said, "I can pay you for helping me. Name your price." "I don't want your money. Everyone wants money. I want you to not die in my bathroom, that's what I want." "Why?" "Because I took an oath, to do no harm, to help people who need help. And right now you need help. Even though I'm a criminal?" "Even though," Jin Seok stared at her. "You're remarkable." "I'm an idiot. There's a difference." "No, you're remarkable. And I'm going to make sure you don't regret saving me." "How?" "By keeping you safe. By making sure my enemies never know you exist. And by..." He paused. "By being worthy of the chance you gave me." Amara didn't know how to respond to that, so she just said, "Get out of my bathtub. I need to shower before I sleep. And you need to rest on my bed because you're still losing blood, and I'm not cleaning you off my bathroom floor." "Your bed? Where else are you going to sleep? The floor?" "I don't want to impose." "You literally broke into my apartment bleeding. We're past the point of imposing." Jin Seok laughed. Actually laughed. And Amara realized she liked the sound, which was definitely a problem. For the next 3 days, they lived in an impossible bubble. Jin Seok couldn't leave. His enemies were still hunting him. His organization was in chaos after the attack. He needed time to heal and plan his next move. Amara couldn't kick him out. Not with his wound still healing. Not with assassins potentially watching the streets. So they stayed, in her tiny 200-square-foot studio, and slowly, impossibly, they started to know each other. Day 1. "You're Nigerian," Jin Seok said, watching her make breakfast. "Observant." "Why Seoul?" "Nursing scholarship, better opportunities than Lagos, chance to send money home to my family." You support them? My father died 3 years ago. Heart attack. Left my mother alone with 3 younger siblings. Someone had to step up. That's why you work 2 jobs. Teaching English pays for my living expenses. Hospital work pays for their rent and school fees. You sacrifice everything for them. That's what family does. Jin-seok was quiet, thinking about Won-shik, about betrayal, about how Amara's definition of family was so different from what he'd experienced. Tell me about your family, Amara said. My parents are dead. Car accident when I was 16. Left me and Won-shik to build the business my father started. The criminal business? It wasn't always criminal. Started as legitimate shipping, logistics. But Seoul's underworld has rules. Either you play the game or you get crushed. So you played. I excelled, built an empire, made billions. That became untouchable. Except you're currently hiding in a nursing student studio apartment. Except that. They smiled at each other, and something shifted. Day 2. Jin-seok taught Amara Korean slang she'd never learned in her textbooks. Amara taught him Yoruba phrases and Nigerian jokes. They talked about everything. His childhood, her dreams, the loneliness of power, the exhaustion of sacrifice. Do you ever regret it? Jin-seok asked. Coming to Seoul, leaving your family? Every day, but I also know it was necessary. They needed someone to take chances, to build something better. You're braver than any soldier I've ever commanded. I'm just doing what needs to be done. That's what bravery is. Amara looked at him. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? A monster. Someone cold and ruthless. I am cold and ruthless, in my world. But not here, not with me. No, not with you. The air between them felt charged, dangerous in a completely different way than bullets and betrayal. Day 3, Jin-seok's wound was healing. He could walk without help, could move without wincing, which meant he'd be leaving soon. Amara didn't want to examine why that thought made her sad. I need to contact my people, Jin-seok said. Let them know I'm alive. Start rebuilding. And then? And then I deal with Won-shik, and the Tanaka clan, and everyone who thought they could take my empire. You're going to war. I'm going to remind them why they feared me. Will it be dangerous? Extremely. Will you be safe? He looked at her. Are you worried about me, Amara? Don't be ridiculous. You are. You're worried. You're my patient. I worry about all my patients. I'm not your patient anymore. Then what are you? The question hung in the air. Jin-seok stood, walked to where she sat on the bed, knelt in front of her. I don't know what this is, this thing between us, but I know I've never felt this way about anyone. Jin-seok, let me finish. You saved my life. But more than that, you reminded me that there are still good people in the world. That not everyone wants something from me, that... His phone rang. The burner he'd retrieved from a contact who'd dropped it off the previous night. He answered, listened. His face went hard. What? Amara asked. They found you. What? My enemies. They traced me here. They know about you. How? Security cameras, witnesses, doesn't matter. What matters is they're coming, and they're going to use you to get to me. What do we do? Jin-seok stood. All traces of the gentleman from the past 3 days gone. This was the Shadow King, the man who commanded empires. We run. Now. But before they could move, the door exploded inward. 6 men, armed, professional, led by Kim Won-shik. Hello, cousin, Won-shik said, smiling. Miss me? And Jin-seok realized he'd made a terrible mistake. By trying to protect Amara, he'd led his enemies straight to her. Won-shik looked at Amara with cold assessment. So this is the nurse, the one who's been hiding my dear cousin. Let her go, Jin-seok said, stepping in front of Amara. This is between us. Is it? Because from where I'm standing, she's leverage. A leverage I'm going to enjoy using. 2 of Won-shik's men grabbed Amara. She fought, kicked, screamed. Jin-seok lunged forward but was hit from behind, went down hard. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Amara being dragged out of the apartment screaming his name, and he knew that saving her was going to cost him everything, but he'd pay it, without hesitation, without regret. Because in 3 days, this woman had become more important than his empire, his revenge, or his life, and he'd burn Seoul to the ground to get her back. Jin-suk woke up 6 hours later in a safe house. His head throbbed, his side ached, but he was alive. Kwon Jae-hoon, his most trusted lieutenant and head of security, sat beside the bed. "Boss, thank God." "Amara," Jin-suk said immediately. "Where is she?" "Won-shik has her. Ah sent a message 2 hours ago. He wants to trade her life for your surrender." "Where?" "Warehouse in Incheon, midnight tonight." Jin-suk checked his watch. 6 p.m. 6 hours. "Gather everyone, every soldier, every ally, every favor we're owed." "Boss, it's a trap." "I know it's a trap. I don't care. That woman saved my life. I'm not letting her die because of me." "We'll get her back. I promise." Jin-suk stood, ignoring the pain, ignoring everything except the image of Amara's face as she was dragged away. "Jae-hoon, I need you to understand something. That woman? She's more important than the business, than revenge, than anything. If I have to choose between the Empire and her, I choose her." Jae-hoon stared. "You love her? I barely know her." "That's not what I asked." Jin-suk was quiet for a moment. Then, "Yes, I love her, and I'm going to save her, or die trying." "Then let's make sure you don't die." They planned. Jin-suk wasn't just going to walk into Won-shik's trap. He was going to turn it into Won-shik's grave. The warehouse in Incheon was exactly what Jin-suk expected. Abandoned. Isolated. Perfect for an ambush. Won-shik stood in the center with Amara tied to a chair beside him. She was bruised, terrified, but alive. Her eyes found Jin-suk's across the distance, and he saw relief, trust, hope. "Cousin," Won-shik called out. "So good of you to come." "Let her go. You wanted me. Here I am." "Oh, I'll let her go. After you sign over your empire, your accounts, everything." "Fine. I'll sign." Won-shik blinked. "What?" "I said fine. I'll sign. Give you everything. Just let her go." "You'd give up everything for a woman you've known 3 days?" "Without hesitation." Won-shik laughed. "You've gone soft, Jin-suk. That's why you were always going to lose, because you think love is strength, but it's weakness." "You're wrong." "Am I?" "You're about to sign away an empire for a stranger." "She's not a stranger. She's the only person who's ever seen me as human, and that's worth more than all the power in Seoul." Jin-suk walked forward, unarmed, hands visible. Won-shik's men tensed, but Jin-suk just kept walking, toward Amara, toward his cousin. "The papers," Won-shik said, holding out documents. "Sign." Jin-suk took the pen, signed, didn't even read them, just signed away everything he'd built, for her. Won-shik stared at the signatures. "You really did it." "I told you I would. I now let her go." "No." Jin-suk's blood went cold. "What? Did you really think I'd let either of you live? You humiliated me. Cost me years. I'm not just taking your empire, cousin. I'm taking your life, and hers." Won-shik raised his gun, pointed it at Amara, and Jin-seok did something he'd never done in his life. He begged, "Please, please, Won-shik. Kill me, torture me, take everything, but let her go. She's innocent. She's done nothing. She saved you. That's enough." Won-shik's finger tightened on the trigger, and Jin-seok threw himself forward, covering Amara with his body, ready to take the bullet meant for her. But the shot never came. Instead, the warehouse exploded with gunfire. From above, from the sides, from everywhere. Jae-hoon and Jin-seok's forces had been hidden the entire time. Snipers in the rafters, soldiers in the shadows, a full tactical assault. Won-shik's men went down in seconds. Won-shik himself was hit, dropped his gun, fell, and Jin-seok stood over him. "You made one mistake, cousin." "What?" "You thought I was alone, but I'm never alone. My people are loyal. Real loyalty, not the kind you bought with my betrayal." Won-shik coughed blood. "You were willing to give it all up, for her." "I was, because she's worth more than any empire." "Then you really have gone soft." "No, I've just finally understood what real strength is. It's not power, it's knowing what you're willing to fight for, and I'll fight for her with everything I have." Jin-seok looked at Jae-hoon. Get him out of here. Take him to the authorities. Let them handle it. Boss, he'll talk. I don't care. I'm done with this. Oh, all of it. He turned to Amara, untied her, pulled her into his arms. She was shaking, crying, but alive. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry I brought this into your life. You saved me. You saved me first. They held each other in that warehouse while chaos swirled around them, and Jin-seok made a decision. Come with me, he said. Where? Anywhere. Everywhere. I'm done with this life. Done with violence and betrayal. I want to be someone worthy of you. Jin-seok, I love you. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life proving I can be the man you deserve. Amara looked at him. This powerful, dangerous, broken man who'd given up everything for her and made her own decision. Okay. Okay? Let's build something better, together. And in that moment, the Shadow King died, and Choi Jin-seok, just a man who loved a woman who'd saved him, was born. 6 months later, Jin-seok had dismantled his criminal empire, turned everything legitimate, used his billions to build ethical businesses, hospitals, schools, charities. He paid off Amara's family's debts, built an orphanage in Lagos in her father's name, funded nursing scholarships across Nigeria. Not because he was trying to buy her love, but because her dreams had become his dreams, and because he'd learned that real power wasn't about fear, it was about lifting others up. Amara finished her nursing degree, opened a clinic for immigrants in Seoul, helped people who'd been invisible like she'd once been. They got married on a beach in Lagos with both their families present, and 3 years later, Best had 3 children who spoke Korean and Yoruba and represented everything beautiful about 2 worlds colliding. Jin-seok never forgot that night in the alley, never forgot the woman who'd taken one look at a bleeding stranger and decided to save him, never forgot that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is open your door, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let yourself be saved. On their 5th anniversary, Amara asked him, "Do you ever regret it, giving up the empire?" Jin-seok looked at their children playing, at the clinic she'd built, at the life they'd created. Not for a second. Even though you lost everything? I didn't lose everything. I lost an empire. But I gained you, and that's the best trade I've ever made. Amara smiled. You've gone soft, Shadow King. Good. Being hard nearly killed me. Being soft saved my life. And they sat together, watching the sunset over Seoul, knowing that the best empires aren't built on fear. They're built on love, and the courage to take a chance on a bleeding stranger in an alley. Thank you for being here, for witnessing this transformation. Subscribe if you believe in taking chances on people. Like this if you've ever chosen compassion over safety. Share this with someone who needs to remember that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is help a stranger. Because sometimes the person you save ends up saving you right back. This community is built on stories like this, stories that remind us we're all worth the risk.